Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Welcome everybody and thank you for coming, especially in the current climate of what's happening about healthcare. So, Jazakallah for your commitment, and I'm diabetic by the way, so I'm at risk group, but Allah will look after us inshallah. My name is Tariq Mahmood. I'm the Vice Chairman of Haven Islamic Culture Center and I'm a student of Tajweed. We're going to start this afternoon's proceeding with, as usual, one ayah from Surah Isra, number 17, verse number 1. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم سبحان الذي أسرى بعبده ليلا من المسجد الحرام إلى المسجد الأقصى الذي باركنا حوله لنريه من آياتنا إنه هو السميع البصير. So the meaning of that is, glory be to him who made his servant to travel by night from Masjid al-Haram to Masjid al-Aqsa, whose surroundings we have blessed to show him some of our signs. He alone is the hearing, the all-seeing. And that's from the Quran, Al-Usra, Surah 17 and verse number 1. Now we have our main speaker for the afternoon going to deliver the talk. It is Sister Sidra Naeem, who is a Muslim chaplain within the health profession. The role most relevant to today's topic is her position as a Muslim chaplain at St. Luke's Hospice, where she comes across a lot of concerned patients who are towards the end of their lives. She offers spiritual, pastoral and bereavement counselling to patients and staff with reassurance relating to the afterlife. Ustada Sidra has a MSc in Special Educational, Medical, Social and Emotional, Mental Health and Wellbeing Needs, additionally giving her experience in supporting children needing bereavement counselling. This is in her capacity as a teacher and Special Education Needs Coordinator. As an alima, she also does this within the Muslim community, believing that afterlife is a fundamental principle in Islam and so relieves the bereaved families quickly, with knowledge that their loved ones are in a better place and may be reunited with them one day, in Jannah, inshallah. So welcome to Sister Sidra.
Jazakallah khair everybody for coming. I'm very surprised actually, the sisters is a full house, all the seats are gone. So that's great. That just shows that Islamic activities should not stop when calamities are going on. In fact, Allah has said to pray even more, and mosques should not definitely shut down. It's the responsibility of the people who are not well for them not to come to the mosque to spread their germs, and that will keep everybody safe. What we're going to do today is we're going to talk about pleasures of paradise. So everybody, I think, after this lecture are all going to want to go to paradise, inshallah, because it's absolutely beautiful. I would recommend that you look at the pictures. The pictures are very, very good, and it took me a long time putting the pictures together because they will bring you into that mode, even though I've never been up there, so I don't know what Jannah looks like. But we can only describe it according to our knowledge and language in this world, basically. We're going to now look, we're going to whiz through paradise quickly. It's not going to be as detailed as the first lecture. I've already done a very detailed version of this talk already, which is on my YouTube channel, which you can look at if you want to see it in more detail. Paradise, did you know the actual word paradise means enclosed garden in English? Dice is where we get the word desh from. Did you know some people in Punjabi they say Hamara Desh, don't they? That is actually from the word dice, and from dice comes dos, which is in Firdos. You know, one of the Jannahs is Firdos. So Islam was actually the first religion in which very detailed descriptions of Jannah were revealed. The word Jannah means unseen garden. The reason why huge descriptions of Jannah for the first time were revealed in Islam was, one, Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam went up there in the first place and he saw everything and came back and told us, and this was then duplicated in the Quran to make people believe that he really is telling the truth. And the second thing is, we believe because we are the last nation and we take on board all the previous things of all the previous prophets and nations, then the most number of people who will enter paradise will be Muslims, because they take on board Jesus and Moses and Noah and everyone. Okay? All the previous nations, in Judaism there's hardly any descriptions of Jannah. In Christianity there is much more, but the most explicit descriptions are actually in Islam. And believing in Jannah is one of the Imam Mufassirs, which means we have to believe in Jannah. And you will never feel completely satisfied on this earth, because did you know that we were actually made for Jannah? If you look at Prophet Adam, our father, he was made in Jannah, and if it wasn't for what he did, we wouldn't be down here, would we? Okay? So in a way, this is like a punishment, isn't it, being on earth? And it's not what our true soul wants. This is why sometimes when we go in big parks and green parks and gardens, we feel at ease, don't we? Did you know there's more mental health in cities than there are in countrysides for that same reason? So that is why, because we naturally want to be in green surroundings. This bit I will just skim through quickly. Going to Jannah is our final destination of our soul, where it will end up eternally. The criteria for Jannah is all our good deeds. Every single day of our lives, the angels on our right and left are writing down all our brilliant deeds, and our book of deeds will be very heavy in terms of pleasing Allah if we are going to go to Jannah. If this side is more heavier, which is your holidays and your restaurant dinners and your theatre shows and your clothes and everything not to do with Allah, you're doomed. But if everything you're doing is to do with Allah, if you go on a holiday, you go to Al-Aqsa Mosque, you're getting good deeds. If you buy some clothes and your niyyah is, I'm going to wear this at so-and-so lecture, there's your good deeds. You can do it all in the intention. Okay? If when you eat, you say, I'm eating this to get stronger so I can do the work of Allah. You get the reward, don't you? So, do you know what? It's really clever, but it's all in the intention. All in the intention. But some things you can't make the right intention for. That's the problem. So you've got to still think on what you're doing. Okay? So anybody who goes to Jannah, it is this that will be heavier, and they will definitely go. The first person to enter paradise will be Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, because he is actually the last prophet. Yes? He will then be followed by other prophets. May Allah be pleased with all of them. Then the believers from the nation of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, followed by the believers from other nations. Now the way we do it is, if the nations are from Jesus' time, then they would have had to have believed in Jesus for them to enter Jannah. Okay? If the nations are from Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam's time, then they would have had to believe in Jesus and all the previous nations. Okay? Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. So it's up to that point. If they believe in everything, then they enter Jannah. Otherwise, then they won't. That's the criteria. And although Muslims were the last to come, they will be the foremost to enter Jannah, like I explained, because they take on board all the previous religions. And you know, like Christians believe that Jesus will forgive all their sins and then they will go to heaven. we believe we are liable for our own deeds ourselves, but we believe on the Day of Judgment, if there is somebody who is a little bit in the middle, then Prophet Muhammad, peace upon him, will intercede for us. But Allah is the only one who can decide who He can intercede for. I have got a video to explain it all to you.
The Holy Quran further states, anyone who is given his book in his right hand will be called to account with an easy reckoning and return joyfully to his people, while anyone who is given his book behind his back will appeal to be blotted out and will roast in the blaze. The judgment for each soul will be rendered by Allah only. However, after judgment is rendered to the sinners for hell, an appeal procedure will be adopted before Allah to forgive the sinners who basically believed in Him as one and only God with no partners. This procedure is known as intercession. As you may know, intercession will be done only on the Day of Judgment, after the judgment is given by the Almighty. Allah would have granted permission to some whose statements were acceptable to Him. Who will be the intercessor for the Muslim sinners? The Hadith answers this question very well. Allah's Apostle said, "They will come to me, and I will ask my Lord's permission, and when I see Him, I will fall down in prostration to Him, and He will leave me in that state as long as He will, and then I will be addressed. Raise up your head, O Muhammad. Ask and your request will be granted, say, and your saying will be listened to. Intercede, and your intercession will be accepted. Then I will raise my head, and I will glorify and praise my Lord. With invocation He will teach me, and then I will intercede. Allah will fix a limit for me, only a certain type of people for whom I can intercede, and I will take them out of the hellfire and let them enter paradise." Sahih al-Bukhari, Volume 6, Hadith 3.
So that explains it a bit more. And then, did you know that all the people that have been chosen to go to Jannah, including the ones that have gone through the intercession, they will follow Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and they will go to this beautiful river which flows all the way down the 7 heavens and under the bridge. Does anybody know what the name of that river is? Yes? It is Al-Qadeer. Who was that river made for? Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. When his son died, his son
Abdullah.
it wasn't Abdullah, it was actually Qasim. And he had actually 3 boys that passed away, sadly. And when Qasim died, he was very upset. Again, this is another example after hardship disease. He was very depressed, he cried, he did cry, and Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, when he went up to Jannah, he saw Al-Qadeer there. And Angel Gabriel said, you know, this river here, this has been made for you, for your son, in your son's name. And he got so happy about that. So that river flows all the way down to under the Sirat bridge, which is where he will drink first, the water, and all his followers will drink. And then you will proceed up to Jannah. I already explained a little bit about this in the first lecture. Jannah is above the 7 skies. The sky we see is only the first sky. Okay? It's not even the first heaven, it's the first sky. There are 7 samawatin, 7 skies, and Jannah number 1 is above that 7th sky. So you can imagine how high it is. We have to cross a Sirat bridge, but for us who are going to Jannah, it will be wide, and our light, our nur from our faces will light up that bridge beautifully, and we will swim across it nice and beautifully. There's a lovely lady there going with the 2 sons. The husband's gone to hell. You know what, I had to crack that one for some of the poor sisters who are going through so much trouble with their husbands. But earlier on, I balanced that up. Before you all start saying I'm a feminist, I did balance that up by saying that a lot of hellfire was women, so I had to balance it up. Okay, what's the first thing you're going to see when you enter Jannah? Does anybody know? Now we know this from the previous lecture. What was the first thing Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam came across? When he went towards Jannah, what was the first thing standing there saying, have you been called? A gate and a gatekeeper. So the first thing you will see is a gate, and did you know that there will be 8 gates to Jannah, and you will enter through whichever gate according to your deeds. So there is one gate that everybody knows about, which is the gate of fasting. What is that one called? Somebody said it there, I heard it, Rayyan. Yes? Somebody who, was it you who said it? Brilliant. What's your name, sister? I don't know you. Do I know you? No. Okay. I'll talk to you later. Come and see me later, okay? Yes, so Rayyan is the name of the gate which you go through, for example, if you fast nicely. But there are altogether 8 gates, okay? And there's one extra gate as well, which I'll talk to you about in a minute. So what are the other deeds you need to do to get through one of those gates? Does anybody know? They're called Babul whatever, Babul whatever.
Some fasting.
Yep, fasting we've done. We did Rayyan already. Okay, Salah. So we've got Babu Rayyan, we've done. We've got Babu Salah, well done. We've done that one. Any more? Sadaqah, good. We're going through the 5 pillars. That's the main thing you need to remember. So, yes, Babul Jihad is one. And Sadaqah, you are correct. Any more? Hajj, excellent. Babul Hajj is correct. These are all the 5 pillars. Yes, that comes under Sadaqah.
For the youth who preserve the chastity.
I don't know about that one. I'm not sure if that is one, but I will talk about a 9th gate in a minute. Any more?
Illness?
No, we've got Babul Iman, which is really the first pillar, Iman in Allah. Okay. The other one is Dhikr. Babu Dhikr, the people who are always doing Dhikr of Allah, Tasbih. Some people have electronic Tasbihs nowadays, don't they, on their hands, those kinds of people. And this one, Babu Qadimin al-Ghaid, is a door which is reserved for those who suppress their anger and pardon others as well. So that is a really good one, which nobody knows about. Somebody who suppresses their anger and pardons others. And there is one gate, and it's called Amen, Gate Amen. And that gate is actually reserved for any other good deed. So it's mentioned in the hadith of intercession, in which Allah says to the Prophet, "O Muhammad, let those of your followers of no accounts enter through the gate of Al-Amen, a gate of the gates of paradise that lies on the right." Okay? When you go towards the gate, it will take you 40 years to cross the gate. Did you know? That's how big it is going to be. And all the floor will be made out of gold and silver bricks. So really, really beautiful. And the gatekeeper won't even be there this time. The gates will be open for you to walk. Okay, amazing. And there are 7 heavens. Now this is where it gets really complicated, you know that. So you've got to really be alert. So there's 7 skies. Above the 7 skies is the first heaven. There's 7 of those heavens. Okay? Who knows the lowest heaven? It is Jannatul Mawa. Nobody ever knows the lowest heaven. Like you lot are going to get any higher. You should know the lowest heaven. What's the middle one? And I'll give you a clue. It's the one where Adam and Eve wore when they ate from that forbidden tree. Eden. Well done, Gladys. It is the Gardens of Eden. The Gardens of Eden is Aden in Arabic. Okay? And I bet you all know the top one, don't you? What is it then? Jannatul Firdaus. See, you know the top one. Like you lot are going to get up there.
We're aspirational.
We wish. So Jannatul Firdaus is the top one. Does anybody know any of the others? Muntaha, your surname. Hint, hint. Naeem. Jannatul Naeem is another one. Any more? Let's have a look at the others. Darul Salam, Darul Khuld, Jannatul Naeem, Jannatul Qasir. They are all the 7 heavens. And did you know that in between each heaven there are 100 grades? Now that is so difficult to picture, isn't it? So, for example, Jannatul Firdaus, the 100th grade is, does anybody know?
Iliyun.
Iliyun, right at the top, where Sidratul Muntaha is Iliyun. That's the 100th grade of the top Jannah. But each Jannah has 100 grades. And did you know that the distance in between the different levels of Jannah are as high as the stars look to us, and 100 years walking distance? So the Prophet said paradise has 100 grades, and the distance between each of the 2 grades is like the distance between the sky and the earth. So can you just imagine how big Jannah must be? So the sky and our earth, the first sky, that's how much the distance is between 1 grade of 1 Jannah. Okay, so you can imagine it's absolutely huge. Let's look at more things. The life of this world compared to the hereafter is like when you put your water in the ocean and you take it out and there's a little bit of water on your finger.
Put your finger in the ocean.
Yeah, your finger in the water of the ocean, and the little bit of water on your finger is the earth, and the whole of the remaining ocean is the heaven. That is what it is compared to. And the descriptions of Jannah is so that an eye has never seen, an ear has never heard, and a mind can never imagine. That is how difficult it is. Now, who told us that? Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. When he came down, he goes, I've got no words to describe Jannah. The words do not exist in our language, and the colours don't exist in our language. So going on to the colours, the spectrum of light in Jannah is different to earth, because on earth there is the sun. The sun is missing in Jannah. The sun's gone in hellfire. So in Jannah, the spectrum of colours will be different, and they will be lit up by the light of Allah. Okay? The light of Allah will light up all the 7 heavens with all their grades, and that's why the colours will be different. Okay? When you enter the gate, what's the first thing you're going to see as soon as you enter the gate? We're going to do this in order. What are you going to see, girls?
The garden.
Gardens. Well done. Priscilla's got a beautiful garden. So this garden is going to be much, much bigger than yours. 100 years journey. 100 years journey. And it's going to be full, lush green garden. Okay? And there's going to be lots and lots of shade. There will be plenteous shade in that garden. What will the weather be like in Jannah? Warm, just right. The warmth of Allah's light will be the warmth of Jannah. Okay? It will never be night there. It will always be bright and not sunny. You can't really call it sunny, but it will be bright with the nur of Allah. Okay? And the weather will be just right and warm. And there will be no dust, crystal clear air, no dust at all, and
No hay fever then.
no hay fever. I'm coming to hay fever in a minute.
I'm getting a business. I will lose business.
No bacteria, crisp clean air. In the distance, what are you going to see?
Mountain?
No. What's one of, who said it then?
Waterfall.
Waterfalls. Waterfalls. Now, you know the people of Arabia, there was no water in Arabia, it was desert everywhere. So Allah's enticing the people of Arabia that when you come to Jannah, there's going to be water everywhere. Okay, so there will be gardens under which rivers flow. What does that give you an illusion of where you're going to be? Gardens under which rivers
So the rivers are under the gardens. So
yes,
the
so
gardens are elevated.
you're going to be high up looking down. Yes, isn't that wonderful? And rivers flowing has been mentioned so many times in the Quran that nobody's counted it. Do you know? Nearly in every chapter, it's written at least 5 times, gardens under which rivers flow, gardens under which rivers flow. Water is very attractive to the Arabs. There was no water there. And in that garden, you will never get bored. There will be so much entertainment in that garden, so many things to see and do, that you will never ever get bored in that garden. And everything will be so big, huge. Remember, Jannah is big. So everything in Jannah is going to be huge in proportion to it. Okay? So in that garden, what is the first thing you're going to see in the garden? Think of the big things first. Trees. Who's planted those trees?
We have.
We have. Did you say you have? Yes? Good boy. He is doing so well. That son, whoever he is, from whichever mother, is going to be a very good person in the future. Well done. You have sat through beautifully throughout the whole of the first lecture, and again, and you're listening to everything, so I'm really pleased with you. I could do with him in my madrasa if you live locally. Right, so trees that we have planted, it will take you 100 years to travel around that tree. That's how big that tree is going to be. And the leaves going to be as big as elephant ears. Okay? So we already came across one tree, didn't we? Sidratul Muntaha. This has got Allah written on it, and the branches make the word Allah, because everything will be worshipping Allah. That's why I've got that on there. Okay? Who can tell me what the trunks of the trees will be made out of?
Chocolate.
Is it chocolate? Gold. Chocolate's going to melt. Gold is the right answer. Silla, you do make me laugh. Gold. Okay, so there is not a single tree in paradise that will not have a trunk made out of gold. And the pebbles are going to be big, made out of pearls. We'll look at the pebbles in a minute. All the flowers will be completely thornless. There will be no thorns on the flowers, and the stems will be made out of gold as well. I really like that flower. It's beautiful, isn't it? And the aroma that will come out of those flowers will fill the whole of Jannah, the beautiful fragrance. So beautiful. And will those flowers have pollen in there? No, why not? Now this is a very clever question. Who's thought about this? There will be no pollen, hence no hay fever.
So the bees, something to do with the bees?
No, there will be no bees there.
It's because they don't need to regenerate.
Good, excellent, well done, brilliant. There's no reproduction, by the way, in Jannah. Even male and females, I will come to that, who's and all that in a minute, will be for pleasure. There'll be no babies, no nappies to change.
So no animals either?
I will come to that bit in a minute, okay? So no pollen because there's no reproduction, hence no hay fever. And did you know that the lights in Jannah will be made out of pearl, and the soil will be a fine white powder of pure musk? How beautiful is that? So all of those are all made out of lights, those lamps, and the floor will be full of musk. The other thing about the floor is there will be pearls, chips made out of pearls, cement will be made out of musk, sand will be made out of saffron. What is saffron? Saffron. Saffron is very, very expensive even in this dunya. So imagine all the sand being made out of saffron. The pebbles will be golf-sized pebbles. Okay, what are you going to see next? Houses. Good. You're going to see your house. Your house, did you know, is already up for sale already. Name of house is Palace. Location is Jannah. Number of doors, it says 8. The key is La ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulullah. Type of construction made from gold, silver and pearls and precious stones. The space of your house will be like the width of the sky and the earth. The price of your house, your 5 pillars. Isn't that good? Your 5 pillars to get in. Date to move in is your day of judgment. Special offer to righteous people. Do you like that? Good, isn't it?
Very nice.
Okay, and then depending on how good your deeds are, that's how better your house will be. So, Allah has promised the believers, men and women, mansions under which rivers flow, and all houses will shine for the residents as the sun shines in this dunya. And did you know, when you look at, you will know straight away which house is yours, and you will recognize your house better than you recognize your house in this dunya. You will recognize it better. Some houses will be made out of crystal. Some houses will be made out of pearl, completely see-through pearl. The more higher up the ranks you go in the Jannahs, the more glitzier your houses will be. Okay? Some of you who love Allah for the sake, love people for the sake of Allah, you will get a big pillar of what? Substance. Ruby, Yaqut. And with that pillar, do you know what you will do? You will build your own house, a big ruby house. Look at that, I love that ruby house. And all of these giant-sized pebbles, golf-sized pebbles that you get in Jannah. And some people who help to build a mosque in this world will get a special house from Jannah. So whoever builds a mosque in which the name of Allah is mentioned, Allah will build a house for him in paradise. Some people who are martyrs, they will get even bigger houses. So these are actually bigger houses. The Prophet said, last night 2 men came to me in a dream and made me ascend a tree and then admitted me into a better and superior house, better of which I've never seen. One of them said, this house is the house of martyrs. And then there will be other types of houses, and there will be tents. Those tents will be used mainly by men, and hurs will be living in those tents. Those tents will be made out of hollow pearl, and their width will be 60 miles. 60 miles. So the believer will have wives in it, and he will go to each of them without any of them seeing each other. So Allah has enticed the men with hurs because they're like men, but with ladies, He has enticed them with houses and furnishings and gold and silver and pebbles and things like that. We will live with our loved ones, and our loved ones will be pious. So it won't be the whole of your family, it will be the ones that are pious and will join you in Jannah. So you will live with your family, and people will be united with all their pious people, their loved ones, their friends. Some people will ask about their friends that they had in this dunya, who they prayed with and things. And Allah will bring those people up from whatever Jannah they are to you. So if you don't find me in Jannah, then ask about me. Surely the people of Jannah, when they enter and they don't find those companions of theirs who were with them upon good in this world, they will intercede for them in front of Allah, and they will say, "Oh Rabb, we have brothers and sisters who used to read Salah and fast with us, we do not see them." Allah will say, "Go to the fire and take out any person who had even an atom's amount of iman in their heart. For that reason, it's very important that you choose pious friends, because they can then help you. If you are in the hellfire, they can help and take you out. Okay, let's carry on. So the houses will be very high, and rivers will flow underneath those houses, and the ceilings will be really, really high. Really, really high. Even in this dunya, we always look for houses with big ceilings, don't we? And let's have a look inside a house now. There will be giant halls, large halls, and the large halls will be stacked on top of each other. Okay, so the halls will be stacked on top of each other, and in those halls will be lots of rooms, and the rooms will have rivers flowing underneath. So this is reminding me a bit of Prophet Solomon's story, where the rooms have water underneath. Does anybody know how many rooms you will have in your house? 70,000. 70,000 rooms in your house. And each room will be built one above the other. Okay? And when you enter your beautiful room, there will be a dining table already there waiting. The dining table will have 70,000 dining sheets on it with 70,000 types of food, and you will be served by 80,000 youthful boys who will look like scattered pearls. Your utensils will be made out of gold. In this dunya we're not allowed to have gold utensils. In the next dunya we will have gold utensils. And we will also have goblets made out of gold, and the goblets will be encrusted with jewels. Okay? What will be your first meal in Jannah, your starter? What will be your starter?
Whale's liver.
Yep, good. Your first starter will be the whale liver, which is really interesting. And then what will you have for your main meal? Does anybody know? Buffalo meat. And the buffalo meat will not taste like buffalo in this dunya, it will be different. Okay? And you will have a goblet of wine with your dinner, and the wine will not intoxicate you. There will be no hangover, no vomiting, and there will be 3 mixer fountains which will go into your drink. So there is one which is called the Tasneem, and that is very, very fragrant. That will be mixed into your wine. Does anybody know the other 2 little flavoured fountains that are in Jannah? One is called Salsabil, which is ginger. Okay, so we've got a ginger flavoured fountain. And the other one is camphor. Camphor has got a minty type taste. Ghafoor it's called in Arabic. So that is the 3rd fountain, which you will use as a mixer drink to put in type. Little couple of drops to be mixed like a cordial into your wine. Okay? Now let's have a look at the types of drinks you will have. Does anybody know? There are 4 rivers in paradise. What are the 4 types of rivers we will get in paradise?
One will be of milk,
Milk, honey.
Milk is one, honey is one,
wine,
wine is the other, and there's one more. Water. Fresh sparkling water. Never spoiling water. And water is one of those. Milk. There's my milk one, it will never go off. Wine is the other. And honey. The honey one looks the best to me, golden. What will you have for afters now?
Fruit.
Fruit, good, fresh fruit. And they will be hanging in rows. The aroma and sweetness will never fade. The food will never go off or go black. And did you know that the dates will be as big as 12 arms, and they will be whiter than milk and sweeter than honey and softer than butter. And the grapes will be really big as a pitcher. No seeds. Why? Because there's no reproduction needed.
So no diabetes either,
No,
from all
no,
the sweet things.
no. We're going to get to that bit in a minute. And pomegranates is the other fruit that is mentioned amongst date palms in the Quran. And every bowl will have a new taste. You will never get bored of what you're eating. You will eat continuously up to 40 years for pleasure only, because there will be no hunger and no thirst. Eating will be for pleasure alone. And if there's fruit at the top of a tree and you can't reach it, what will happen?
It'll fall to you.
It will bend down to you and you can have the fruit straight in your hand. And if you don't like fruit, you're probably saying you don't like fruit, then you can have something, whatever you want, food-wise you can have. That's a big house full of sweets, isn't it? Okay? What other foods will there be in Jannah? There's one thing else mentioned in the Quran. Yes?
Birds.
Birds. Who said birds? Well done. It is birds. Any fruit that they may choose, and the flesh of fowls. Fowls is fruit, is mentioned in there. And there will be no indigestion, no stools or urine when you eat. Your sweating will be perfumed. Your burps will be smell of musk. No catarrh and no vomit either. And the next thing is that there will be no work, just rest. Everybody will just be resting, no work, no studying, nothing. And depending, again, on your deeds, the sofas and couches you will be lying on will be different according to how good your deeds were in this world. You will recall your former life. You will be resting on cushioned sofas under fruit trees, while servants bring jeweled goblets of wine to you and platters of delicacies. And the fruit behind you will just come over you, and you'll just pick the fruit and you'll be eating all day basically, and talking about and laughing about your former life. There will be, some of us will be on reclining couches lined with silk brocade, the fruit of both gardens near to hand. So there is a different kind of sofa there, and it's got silk brocade on it. Very, very beautiful. And again, everything will be out in the gardens. Some of us will have very special thrones woven with gold and precious stones, and we will be reclining on them, all facing each other. Some of us will be lying down on beautiful, rich mattresses. Did you know, if you are one of those, you will have 70 mattresses, a bed, and the bed will only be for you to rest on, but not sleep on. There is no sleep in Jannah. You will never want to sleep, you will never get tired. So that is your encrusted bed full of jewels and 70 mattresses, which will show you just how comfortable and how soft it will be. Then there will be lots of cushions set in rows. What colour do you think those cushions will be?
Golden.
Okay, any other colour? What's the other colour in Jannah? Green. Green is mentioned. So green cushions you will be reclining upon, specifically mentioned. And some of you, depending on your deeds, will be reclining on huge raised thrones. Beautiful high raised throne like that. And there will be carpets, rich carpets spread out, leading to that throne. Just look at those pictures, they're absolutely beautiful. And then you will all be the same. In this dunya you are rich, poor, white, black, doctor, street sweeper. But in Jannah our souls will all be the same colour. There will be no fat or thin, tall or short, black or white. or any worldly status. Everybody will be huge. We will be big like Adam. So we will be the same height as Adam, 90 feet, which is 60 cubits tall. Look how tall that woman is. She's massive, isn't she? Okay, and your faces will be shining radiantly like the moon. You will have more beauty than Yusuf. The men will be beardless and they will be aged 40. The ladies will have smooth, silky skin, and they will be 33 years. Those are both the ages, the prime ages of people in this dunya. 40 is the age of wisdom for men, and 33 is the best age for women to have wisdom. It's all downhill after 33. Okay? And their youth will never fade. No wrinkles, no Botox, no anti-wrinkle creams needed. You'll be smooth and silky. And you will abide eternally in Jannah. So you will be eternal, which means you will never die. There will be no sickness in Jannah, no pains, no flus, no coronavirus. There will be no need for doctors or pharmacies, no depression, no mental health, nothing, okay? You will never feel sorrow, ever, or regret anything, or feel sad. And everybody will be full of energy. There will be no tiredness at all.
Will we pray Salah?
I will cover that in the questions. Okay, so if you mention that to me in the questions. The hearts will be cleaned. The black spot will be taken out like Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. There will be no jealousy, no hatred, no spitefulness, no miserliness. We will have tolerance like Yaqub, patience like Ayub. Our habits will be like Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And our hearts will be full of gold. When we say gold, we don't mean literal gold. We mean, you know, when you have a heart of gold, like that, we will be there. No jealousy, hatred, that kind of stuff. And everybody will have beautiful voices. Our voices will be like Dawood, alayhi salam. There'll be no backbiting, no moaning, no gossiping, no lies. And everybody will sing salam, salam.
Perfect tajweed.
Yeah, peace.
Perfect tajweed.
Every single man that will enter Jannah will have at least 2 wives, and the marrow of their bones will be able to be seen through their skin. They will be beautiful. Their legs will be see-through. The flesh will be seen out of them through excessive beauty. And they will have at least 2 purified mates. That's the least amount they will have. And those mates will be special maidens of paradise, which are called hurs, which are a special creation that Allah has made. Like Allah has made angels and jinns and human beings, hur is a special creation. Okay? And they will be females with wide, lovely, dark eyes, and they will be full-breasted and wide-eyed with big white scleras. One finger will light up the whole world, and they will have lovely long hair. All the things which men want. So Allah has enticed men to come to Jannah with women, which is what they like. And Allah has enticed women with the jewels and the cushions and the mattresses and the houses and the glitz and the gardens. We all like all of that, don't we? All women will be married. Every single person will be married. They will all be virgins, and they will have no monthly cycles. Hooray! They will have no monthly cycles. If one of the women of paradise looked on the earth, the whole space between them, the earth and the heavens, will light up and would fill whatever is in between them with perfume, and the veil of her face is better than the whole world and whatever is in it. Also, the beautiful clothes that you will wear, there will be 2 types of silk. There will be thin silk, which is sundus and will be white, delicate, weightless, so fine that your heart's waves will be able to be seen through them. And there will be thick silk as well, called istabrak, and that is thick brocade silk. You will wear 70 dresses all at one time. They will never become old, dirty, or tear, and they will be of different colours as well. And did you know that your clothes will come out of a tree, the duba tree, and they will grow out of the sepals of the flower. So you won't have to make your clothes or buy them. They will grow out of your own back gardens from your beautiful little tree that you will have, the duba tree. Green silk embroidered with gold, kurtas, which is a long coat, is what is mentioned in the Quran. Okay? Your clothes will never need ironing or sewing or ever wear out or ever get dirty. So that is a big one for the ladies. We will never have to iron again. And our utensils, like combs, will be made out of gold. And even men who are not allowed to wear gold in this dunya, they will all be wearing gold in the next dunya. Our air fresheners will be made out of gold as well. We will have incense burners will be of aloe wood, and the coals of the incense burners will be of aloe wood. And once a week we will go to a market on Friday, and the northern wind will blow and we will get showered with fragrance, and our faces will be lit up when we get home. And everyone will ask us, what on earth has happened to you? And we will say, we saw Allah at that market. So once a week, you will see Allah at that market. You will also be glorifying Allah in the morning and in the evening. But all the things we had to do in this dunya to get to Jannah, we will not need to do. So women will not wear hijab, and we will not have to read salah, but we will be praising Allah all the time by what we see. Okay? There will be green birds in Jannah, which is actually the martyrs. The martyrs who really died for Allah, not the ISIS of nowadays or suicide bombers. We're looking at proper martyrs in the Battle of Uhud, for example. They are already there in the form of green birds. There will also be children there who died as unborn babies after 5 months, or died sinless before puberty. They are all playing there under a tree, and Ibrahim al-Islam is their guardian under the garden of refuge near Sidratul Muntaha. And if you do want a child, you will not need to give birth, because there's no menstruation or reproduction. You will just ask for a child, and Allah will put that child in front of your eyes, and the child will grow in front of your eyes to 33 years old. Or, if it's a girl, and 40 if it's a boy, which is very interesting, because there'll be no nappies to change and all the hardships of motherhood. We did all that in this dunya, didn't we? Okay? What kinds of animals will there be in Jannah? Yes?
Spiders?
No, because that's a horrible thing. That would definitely not be in Jannah.
Birds?
Birds, yes. What about Burak, the horse type animals? He came from Jannah. So there will be horses with wings. Burak is one of them. You mentioned birds. Those birds
Camel?
will be beautiful birds, which we also will eat as well. But look at that beautiful peacock. Okay? Some of the things that we eat is the whale liver, so we know that there will also be whales there for us to roast and eat. Okay? So this is the dua that we need to get to Jannah, which we should all try and recite. Oh, Allah, I ask you to grant me paradise, and I take refuge in you from the fire. Okay, that is the dua for Jannah. And this is the last video before we take questions.
The final home is eternal. There is no aging, there is no death. There ends our journey. Allah sent us on the earth on a test program. Those who passed his test enter paradise, and those who did not pass the test enter hell. It is impossible to find out what it will really look like in paradise or hell. The Holy Quran describes the contents of paradise and hell in a metaphorical language or symbolic language. The dimensions and characteristics of the eternal home are described to us in the earth language to make us sense what it will be like. The subjects are depicted by earthly subjects known to us and which bear similarities. Righteous people will be near Allah, but they will never be equal to Allah. This is not a cycle of evolution. Human life has a sequence of events prescribed by Allah. The dimensions of paradise and hell are highly magnified and enhanced. The eternal home may be bigger than the entire universe. As per hadith in Sahih Muslim, there is a tree in paradise. To cross the shade of the tree, it may take more than 100 years. It has been written in hadith that when a person is entering paradise, a beautiful woman with large eyes will greet and welcome him by shaking hands with him. If one of her fingers is shown on the earth dimensions, it will shine like the sun. If her hair is shown on earth, it will cover the east and the west. The Holy Quran describes paradise as a home of peace, security, with no death, no fatigue. The gardens of eternity will have rivers flowing. The people of paradise will be reclining on thrones of dignity with their associates under the cool shades. Beside them will be chaste women. Every fruit will be there for them. They will have anything they call for. In paradise, people will meet their relatives who also were righteous. The people of paradise will see angels surrounding the throne of Allah and singing glory and praise to him. There is everlasting bliss. It is written in hadith that Allah will never be annoyed with the people of paradise. There would be a tent made of a pearl whose height would be 60 miles. The people will live in great mansions with the finest foods. They will eat and drink, but would neither spit, nor pass water, nor void excrement, nor suffer catarrh. The hadith mentions that the residents of paradise will look to the upper apartment of paradise as you see the planets in the sky. It has also been reported in a hadith, Sahih Muslim, there will be bounties which the eye has not seen, and the ear has not heard, and no human heart has ever perceived them.
Okay, let's have questions now. The microphones, if the brothers can pass them around, and the sisters pass them around. So, we've got a question at the back. If you can send that microphone over there. Okay. Yep. What's your question?
My question is, would you be full after eating every food?
No, you will never get full because I said you will eat continuously for 40 years and there's no indigestion. You will eat for pleasure so you won't get full up there. Don't forget your stomachs are going to be really big, aren't they, as well?
My other question is, would you be as tall as any other prophet?
Yes, Adam, 90 cubits tall. Okay? We will be all as big as Adam. Don't forget, Jannah is so big, we will have to be in proportion to Jannah, won't we? Okay? Yes? Okay, let's give someone else a chance. If you can switch that off. Anybody in the sisters' side? You're all flabbergasted with that, aren't you? You're all in dreamland, all of you. Okay, have you got a question? Can you quickly bring the microphone here?
On the day of judgment, will any kids be judged?
No.
Oh, that's a good
No.
question.
Children will be judged only after puberty, which is when you're teenagers. Okay? Children will be sinless. Their deeds are written down after they become teenagers. That is when Shaitan will corrupt you, and the good deeds are written down and the bad are written down. Okay?
Will the children age?
Everybody in Jannah will be 40 years old if they are boy, and 33 if they are woman.
So the children that die and they resurrect, will they stay as children?
They will become big, and they will be 33 or 40. And if you have any babies in Jannah, you want a baby, and they will grow in front of your eyes to those ages. Okay? That's what we know anyway. Yes.
Is there a way to progress to the next heaven? So if you start off, say, at the lowest heaven, how can you, or is that it?
That's it.
Be content.
But if you've got friends who are pious in the higher levels, they can call you up to the higher levels. So this is why it's important. I was going to say the same to you. It's important that we make friends with pious people. The other thing is, even if you're in the lower Jannah, when you look at all of that, you're not going to worry. Jannah is Jannah, isn't it? Who cares what level we're on? At least we got there. That's a big if in itself, isn't it?
So we get to meet the Prophet, Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. We get to meet him.
Yes, if we go to Jannah, he will lead us to Jannah. So we will meet him, yes. We will meet Allah every Friday as well, inshallah. Yes. We will meet him because he's the one who's going to lead us, isn't he, to the Qadeer, and we will drink from there first. Okay? Have you got another one? Right, pop that on then.
If you're Hafiz, how many people can you take to Jannah?
Okay, 70 apparently. Did you know that people who are also martyrs can take up to 70 relatives as well? And they get crowned with glory and things like that. And they don't get judged that much. Martyrs don't get judged. Martyrs actually escape the barzakh. So they are already there in the form of green birds. They will not get judged, martyrs. And they get 72 hurs, martyrs do, and they are allowed to take up to 70 relatives, and they will live in the biggest house, the most grandest out of all of those. With Hafizes, I must say, because I've had experience of this, if you're a Hafiz Quran, you will be judged more, because it means you will know everything in the Quran. Did you act upon it? Because everybody knows the story of what happened to the Hafiz in Brentwood. He was a Hafiz Quran, and he used religion in the wrong way. So, and I know many, believe me, I know many. So, Allah will judge you more if you know the religion more, because then you know even more, don't you? So it does not mean a Hafiz will go to Jannah, because Allah will still have to judge him to see, did he act on what he knew? Did he use the religion in the wrong way? Like he will judge all of us. But on the whole, they will be allowed to take 70 people to Jannah with them. Okay? It's not just learning the Quran Barrett fashion either, is it? It's understanding the Quran as well. Okay? Others, anybody can memorize it and they'll go to Jannah. It's understanding and acting upon it as well. That's the bit people don't teach you. So all Hafizes are quite big-headed. Oh, we're going to go to Jannah, we can do whatever bad deed we like and we'll get up there. Actually, no, you will be judged more because you know the religion more, you see. So that is important to know. I've had experience of a few, that's why I'm saying that. Okay, any more questions before we finish? It's all the children, isn't it? Right, do you want to give the girl a chance first? If you can come to the front and sit together, it'll be easier. I think Iman's sister's got a lot of knowledge now, like you, hasn't she? She's like what you was when you were younger.
Why is everything made of gold and silver?
because that's expensive. It shows how grand everything is. It shows how grand and expensive everything is. Okay, right?
If you've passed puberty
Yes.
and you're thinking about converting, but your parents don't let you, or you're still allowed to go to Jannah.
Right. Okay. After puberty, you're adults, so then it's up to you. Are you talking about non-Muslims?
Yeah, if they want to convert.
Yeah. So then it's really up to them, isn't it? So once they're above 18, if they want to convert, they can, according to the law of this country. It's a free country.
Or what if they're younger than 18?
No, they should wait. I always give this advice to everybody. You should really be young adults before you convert to any religion, because you don't know certain things. You have to be sensible, wisdom, and all that comes with age. So I wouldn't advise anybody to change their religion until they reach young adulthood, where they can think for themselves and also know what is entailed. It's not that easy to be a Muslim, is it? What about the 5 pillars and stuff? So somebody at a young age may say, oh yeah, I want to be a Muslim, and then they get to teenage years, and then all of a sudden, oh no, I've got to pray 5 times a day, I've got to do my fasting for 30 days. It's too difficult, I'll leave the religion. So religion is very, it's a serious thing really, so you need to think about it properly before you convert. It's not really for very young children to convert, unless there's a prophet in front of you, like Hazrat Ali did at a young age. But that was different, there was a prophet there to guide them, do you see? In nowadays culture, I think you should wait till you're a young adult, I personally feel, because you're only going to change your mind afterwards. Okay? Right. Shall we stop now? No more in the ladies? No? Okay, I think it's quite crystal clear, isn't it? So, if I can have the microphones back. And Jazakallah khair, you've been a wonderful audience, by the way.